Welcome, everyone, to your March State of the Industry. We're so excited that you're here. And I know that you are also excited because we've got a lot of fun things to talk about. We are going to start, like we do every time, with announcements and introductions. I am Katie Hardman, the Chief Opportunity Officer for the Experience Brokerage Network, and my lovely co-host, or maybe I'm your co-host, Leslie.
We're partners. We do everything together. General Manager Leslie Hilbert of the Experience Brokerage Network, which encompasses 4 amazing Keller Williams market centers here in the state of Oregon, and acting team leader at Sunset Corridor in Capital City. And of course, we introduce ourselves every single time, even though most of you guys know us, because why, Katie?
We've got 20 new family members since the last time that we saw each other. So, welcome to these 20 new names and faces and amazing real estate agents. We are so honored that you are here and that you've chosen to partner with us. And we are excited to be your partners in business and growth in 2025. So, the cool thing about this list actually is I see some names that of people who have come back to our brokerages. So, welcome back to those who are showing up on this list for a second time. That's really awesome. We're glad you're here. Okay, more announcements. Leslie, you want to take this one?
Well, I feel like I'm taking it for our PBs, but I'm so excited about this one. And our PB division has launched a brand new recognition for our agents in a new capacity, because they get to see a side of our agents that not all of the industry gets to see, which is the incredible work that our agents get to do when they're negotiating on behalf of their clients and writing incredible contracts. And so they have the ability to see the work that isn't always recognized. And they have created a new recognition called Broker of the Month. So this is our second month that we have acknowledged those individuals that have shown exceptional contract writing or representation of their clients. And this month we got to recognize an agent from each of our market centers. So Tori, Adrian, Katya, and Michelle for exceptional service and their Broker of the Month category, sponsored by our America's Preferred Home Warranty. So congratulations to our Brokers of the Month, and thank you to our PB division for their special recognition, and stay tuned every month for this recognition moving forward.
Yeah, it's really fun. And if you want to learn more, I know at everybody's all partners meetings this month where they're talking about specifically what they've done to be recognized. So maybe we can learn from them too. Okay, here's another, all the announcements are fun this month. So I'm excited to share that we get the opportunity again to hear from you. And my hope is that we do. So if you've been with the Experience Brokerage Network for any of the last 5 years, you know that every March we ask for your feedback. And it's really important to us that you take the time to fill out the survey and to give us your feedback because one, we want to get better every single year. And also, this is what helps us to be recognized as a top workplace. And so for the last 5 years, we have ranked in the top 3 top workplaces in the state of Oregon. And we would love to win again. So secretly, like my competitive side is like, please fill up the survey so we can be a top workplace. But truly, the whole reason is because we want your feedback and we want to know what you love, what you don't, what we can improve on. 2 things to know about this. It is a completely anonymous survey that is put on by a third party. So you're going to get an email. You've already received emails from Energage, which is the company that puts on this survey. So if you've gotten that email, no pressure, but I hope that you open it and that you take it. It only takes a few minutes. And you are going to continue to get reminders to take it until you take it. So if you would like the emails to stop, maybe open it, maybe take it. We would love that. And the other thing to note is that this is across all industries. So you might see some language in there that says employee, and we know that you're not an employee of the Experience Brokerage Network, but it's still applicable. The questions are still applicable to us and to you. So anytime you see employee, just cross it out and put partner. cross it out and put independent contractor. That is just their language that we don't have any control over, but it is still very much a survey for you. So please and thank you. No pressure. We love you. We would love your feedback. And if you'd like the emails to stop, please take it. Our spotlight this month for our power partners is Area Pro, because they're doing something really cool with us. For the last 3 months, well, 2 months, and then in April, they are doing training specifically for the Experienced Brokerage Network. And if you guys have been around our organization for an extended period of time, we used to have a TMO report, Total Market Overview report, that was like a static PDF that we sent to you every week, and it was never at the same time. And sometimes it was right, sometimes it wasn't. We had no control over that data. Our newest power partner is Area Pro, and their data and their analytics and their ability for you to control and manipulate the data to work for you and your business is unreal. Like, I've never seen anything like it. So one, if you've received emails to sign up for Area Pro and you haven't, please do. And they are doing, and they meaning the owner of Area Pro, Sean Anderson, is doing a training every month for us through the last 3 months. And our next one is April 3rd, and it's lead generating with real estate stats. So if this sounds like your jam, like, I know there's people on this call who are like, ooh, I love data. Ooh, I love numbers. Like, this is for you. And if you don't, this is also probably for you so that you can get better at it. So I hope that you join us. It's during our regularly scheduled MCTT office hours on Thursdays. So just jump on that link. It's on all of your calendars at 12 p.m. on April 3rd to hear from Sean and to learn how to lead generate with real estate stats. Okay, Leslie, you want to do this one too?
It's back. I know you guys have all been waiting for it. This will be our third year of doing the open house extravaganza, backed by popular demand, and so popular that we now do it twice a year. So this is going to be the spring open house extravaganza. So mark your calendars for May 3rd, back on a Sunday, right? That's Sunday.
Saturday.
Oh, it's a Saturday. Back on Saturday. Thank you. Back on Saturday, May 3rd. So you're going to see lots of information coming your way as we ramp up for the statewide Keller Williams open house extravaganza. So we are prepping the marketing, the information to go statewide, including all of the Keller Williams in the state of Oregon. Of course, all of our Experienced Brokerage Network market centers will be participating in this statewide initiative. So we would love to have as many of our XBN agents participate as possible and paint the entire state of Oregon with open house signs on that very special day. So hopefully you will mark your calendars and join us and prep all of your listings and get them ready for that big open house day with lots of marketing. So
yeah, I mean, this is two things. One, mark your calendar so you can be available and to participate. But if you're having conversations with sellers, like, this is a great thing to remember to tell them as well, because it's a amazing opportunity. Our goal is to hold open every Keller Williams listing in the state of Oregon on this day. And so it's a really cool opportunity for your sellers to participate in an event that draws a lot of attention. So be marking your calendars for you to participate, but also to be having this conversation with your sellers. And maybe this can help get them on the market sooner. I mean, it is the spring.
also, Katie, for those agents who do not have a listing ready, don't count yourself out. If you want to host an open house and do not have a listing ready to go, we will be taking a list of everybody who wants to participate and be a host for those opens. So whether you have a listing or you just want to be a host, this day is for you. So there's a way to participate for each and every single one of our agents on that day.
That's right. I mean, just put it on your calendar. You'll be there. Okay, done with announcements. Now, why you guys are all really here is to hear from I always say my friend, but like, that's low man on the totem pole of her like things list of accomplishments. She's been in the real estate industry for over a decade. She is a coach. She's a highly sought after speaker on business and entrepreneurship. She's the founder of the Lead Syndicate, which is now levered by Movoto. She's a mom, she's a wife, she is an amazing friend, and she's a visionary leader. So you may know her because she has come and spoke in Oregon with us and on these calls. Gosh, March is our jam. Like we just do this every March. So just expect Nikki in
Almost our
March.
anniversary. Like we're one day off. Isn't that wild?
Wild. Like had no clue until that popped up on Facebook. So thank you for happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Well, our anniversary goes well beyond that.
True, 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 true. Nikki and I have grown up in this company together, so we go way back. But I am so excited that Nikki, you are here to talk with us and to pour into each and every one of us on this call. So I'm going to stop sharing because really this is your call, and I'm going to let you have the stage.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Want to say that I've gotten to grow up with Katie and have known Leslie for a long time too. And y'all listen, I have the privilege of having been in the industry for a real long time. And I've traveled all over the country, all over the world, to speak at real estate companies. And like, if I'm being honest, most of the real estate leadership is average at best, if we're just calling it what it is. It's rare that you get two people who are beyond exceptional to be in business together and then to have the privilege to get to be within their ecosystem and in their orbit and to be in real estate of all the places with them when there are a lot of things they could be doing. And I just want you all to know, like, if you don't know, trust me, I've done the research. You're real lucky. You got some pretty exceptional leaders at the head of this organization, and you're lucky to be here. I'm lucky to be here. All right, let's hit it. I'm not like a normal trainer. I'm not a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. I'm not. If you don't get the reference, we have other words to be had. I'm not a normal trainer. We're not going to do the thing where I drone on and you sort of like half listen while you're doing something else. Like I'm going to tell you, if you're not going to listen to it, if you're going to waste an hour of both of our time, I'd rather you just hop off. Like probably shouldn't say that, but I'd rather you just not do it. And I'm not going to do the Katie thing where she's like, no pressure. I'm like, all the pressure. Turn your video on because I never show up to meetings with a bag on my head. So turn your video on. If you're going to be here, you're going to be here and you're going to do something with it. Can we all just make that agreement? Like, let's not waste an hour of your life and let's actually do something with it. So you're going to make a commitment. Here's how I know if you're actually here. You're going to do one thing. By the way, I don't need you to implement all the things. I need you to implement one thing. Write a 1 in the chat if you are committed to taking at least one thing that we talk about today and implementing it in your business or your life. There you go. We're not going to do where we stuff it into a drawer and we're like, oh, that was so good. She was so good. Let's bring her back again. But we're not actually going to take any action on it. We're going to do something with this training today. You're going to be all in. For those that don't have their camera on, give them a little bit of pressure. Like I said, there's no pressure here. There's all the pressure. Get your cameras on. I don't have a bag on my head. Neither should you. Let's jump in. Let's talk about how to have your best year yet. So, when I'm heading into a year, I often have conversations with agents that go a little something like this. In fact, I stopped teaching business planning because I was getting so frustrated with people who were doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again and getting surprised that they would get the same results. And invariably it would go something like this. I would teach a 3-day business plan with all of the science and evidence to show you how to build the perfect business plan. And then somebody would walk out as I was leaving and be like, Nikki, this is the best business planning I've ever been to. Next year, I'm going to double my business. This is the year I'm going to do it. I'm going to double my business. And I would say, that's amazing. And what are you going to do? What's your plan? And we'd sort of circle around each other for a while until we eventually arrived at the fact that they were going to do the exact same thing and just expect that they would get double the results. Doesn't work like that, y'all. In order to show up differently, in order to get different results, you have to show up differently. And that's what we're talking about today. How to actually have your best year yet. And by the way, I'm just here to tell you that will require your participation. Make no mistake. Both success and failure require your participation. Okay? So let's just digest that for a minute. and then we'll get into what we're actually going to talk about. By the way, somebody take notes in the chat. Like somebody, if you're loving what you're hearing, or there's something that's a takeaway for you, throw it in the chat so you can all benefit from it. Because by the way, you're all taking a different training today. You are all going to receive this a little bit differently. Some of you are going to be like, yes, that's me. I'm the problem. That's what I hear. And some of you are going to be like, no, 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 it's everybody else is the problem. And none of this applies to me. I don't know how you showed up today, but I'm hoping that you'll find evidence of what is going to help you propel into the next year here. Okay. So by the way, I'm sure some of you are like, this is a little bit late. We're in March. So what? My bet is that some of you probably had a New Year's resolution. Some of you probably had a plan for how this year was going to go. And if you're anything like me, you got a swift right hook to the face. By the way, I had a plan how this year was going to go, and then my city burned down because I'm from LA. So we had a plan for how this year was going to go, and guess what? The year didn't go according to plan. It never does it? It never actually does it? So if you're anything like me, drop a me in the chat if you had a plan to have the best year yet, and this year is just quite simply not cooperating. And yet, isn't that how it always is? Isn't that how it always is? Like, doesn't life always happen? We have a saying in my organization, life be lifin'. But isn't life always lifing? Like, aren't we always being delivered something that isn't according to plan? And by the way, I don't know if you guys are like me, but when everything is going perfectly, like when all the boxes are checked and everything is going perfectly, aren't you like, all right, nobody move, nobody breathe, nobody move, nobody do anything? Because that's not what life is. So this conversation today, if it's all right with you, we're going to have a conversation about how we succeed through life and how we win no matter what the year delivers to us. Because I'm going to give you the hard truth today. Your goals don't care how you feel about the year. Your goals don't care what challenges you come to face. They don't care. They don't care your feelings about it. They don't care your energy about it. And there will be a few of you on this call who will succeed in spite of. And some of you will not have your best year yet because life be lightning and because you chose to participate in failure instead of participating in success. Good news is you get to decide. Bad news is you get to decide. Number one, how you're going to have the best year yet. What's your plan? In order to have the best year yet, you have to plan to have the best year yet. And by the way, that plan has to be a realistic accumulation of how you're going to reach the goal, right? It has to be a realistic accumulation of how you're going to reach the goal. And here's what I mean by that. If your goal is to double your business this year and your plan looks a whole lot like it did last year, what's going to happen? What type of results are you going to get? Let me help you skip to the end. The same. It's going to be the same. Now, you can lie to yourself and you can make yourself believe something different, but your results will not lie. As I tell our team often, we can avoid reality, but we cannot avoid the consequences of avoiding reality. In order for you to get different results, you have to have a plan to get different results. What is that plan? And by the way, we'll talk a bit about your real estate business today because that's the thing that we all have in common. But let this be a plan for your life. This could be the year that changes everything. Good news is you get to decide. Bad news is you get to decide. This could be the year that changes everything for you. I hope it is. But in order for that to happen, you are going to have a plan. And by the way, it's going to have to be a realistic plan, a quantifiable plan, and you are going to have to follow the plan. One of the most important conversations I have with people is, by the way, I know that none of you do this, but when I am an organization that supports individual agents exclusively across the country. So we have hundreds of agents of businesses that we support. And I have coached at this point in my career, literally thousands of agents. And I have this conversation all the time. What are you going to do differently in order to hit your goals this year? Oh, Nikki, I'm just going to time block. I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to time block. And to which I'll say, no, you're not. Like, you haven't done it yet. You're not going to do it now. What you actually need to do is make a plan to do the thing that you need to do and not do anything else until you've done the thing that you need to do. That's the plan. The plan isn't to time block. The plan is to do the thing, right? By the way, we get those mixed up, and if we don't have a quantifiable plan that's going to get us to where we want to go, we are not going to get there. Another example, if somebody says to me, I want to make more money, I usually make a fun show of it, and I'll dig through my bag and I'll find a penny and I'll hand it to them and I'll say, congratulations, you've hit your goal. If you want to get different results, you have to have a clear articulation of what it is that you are trying to get and how you are going to get there. And it has to be quantifiable. So what is the plan in order for you to get different results? Which brings me to my different list. I have a thing that I do at the beginning of every year, really at the end of every year, in an effort to be prepared for the beginning. And I do this every single day, and it's called my different list. And I would encourage all of you to adopt this. I'm very clear that in order to get different results, I have to behave differently. I have to show up differently. And so as opposed to doing the thing where I set goals, goals are for people who avoid the work. I said it. I said what I said. Hear me out. People who succeed at a really high level don't set goals, they set actions. By the way, you need to know where you're trying to go. That's true. But you will win if you just focus on your daily actions. You need to know which direction you're going. That's the goal. But truly successful people are the ones that obsess over the work, over the process. And that is the different list. This is a realization that the goal doesn't matter. What matters is how I show up. So I would ask all of you, how do you need to show up differently? Throw in the chat, how do you need to show up differently in order to get different results? Is it that you need to be more consistent? And by the way, you should quantify what that actually means. Is it that you need to wake up earlier? Is it that you need to watch less TV? Is it you need to stop doom scrolling in order to avoid the things that you need to do? I don't know what it is for you. I don't know what it is for you. But I'm betting that you do. I'm betting that you know how you need to show up differently. Again, we can avoid it. We can't avoid the consequences of it. So how do you need to show up and behave differently in your life and in your business? Number 3, establish set points. If there is anything that will propel your success more than your different list, it's this. I tell people often success is a lot less about going forward, or as much about going forward as it is about making sure you don't go backward. It's as much about going forward as it is about making sure that you don't go backward. And that's what your set point is. By the way, let me give you some examples. Y'all know anybody in your life who's like lost a ton of weight? Like I'm talking like 50 plus pounds. Y'all know someone like that? Y'all also know the same person who has gained it all back? Yep. That person never established set points. They never established set points. Set points are how we make sure that we don't go backwards. It's how we make sure that we don't undo our progress, because that's easy to do when life gets crazy and when life be lifin'. Here's what I mean. For example, I have a set point in my financial life. If my bank balance goes below a certain number, guess what happens? I don't get to spend any more money. I have 2 young children, I have to feed them. But other than that, we're not spending anything else. So the online shopping stops, the Amazon orders stop, the frivolous spending on whatever, going out for the movie or whatever it is, it stops. It is a financial set point. I refuse to go backwards in my financial life. I also have a set point for my weight. If I get to a certain body weight, guess what happens? I start tracking my food and intake so that I don't go backwards. I have a specific health marker that I want to make sure that I am hitting. And so I have a set point to ensure that I don't go backwards on all the forward progress that I've made. We have something in our ecosystem called the 15th protocol, that if you get to the 15th of the month and you are not on track for your goals, by the 15th, you're going backward if you're not going forward. So if you get to the 15th and you're not on track, guess what your tail is doing all day? You're lead generating all day, because why would you be doing anything else? If the most important thing is the most important thing, why would you be doing anything else? because we don't want you to go backwards in your business. Your job and our job is to propel your forward energy. We want to make sure that you don't go backwards. By the way, I have a relationship set point. In my relationship with my spouse, we have a set point that if we have gone more than 3 weeks at a time without having one-on-one time, by the way, I got a 4-year-old and a 5-month-old. So I can tell you that it's easy, 4.5-month-old. It's easy for us to string together 3 weeks of just like co-living and surviving in the chaos that is young children, right? If you know, you know. And so it is easy for us to go several weeks in a row without actually having any one-on-one time. So if that happens, if we hit 3 weeks in a row of no one-on-one time, no date, no time that we've set aside, we make sure that we get a babysitter and we spend an entire day together, the whole day. That's a relationship set point. Because here's what happens in most relationships. 3 weeks turns into 6, 6 turns into 12, and before you know it, you're roommates and you don't know anything about each other. That's what happens. So set points are about making sure that we don't lose our forward progress and about making sure that we don't lose all of the work that we've done in the past, right? It's not as much about going forward as it is about making sure that you don't go backwards. Number 4, you keep the schedule that needs to be kept. You keep the schedule that needs to be kept. I'm just going to say the thing that no one says and like might not feel good, might like not get me invited back. But like, I don't care what's going on in your life. Keep the schedule that needs to be kept. Your goals don't care. The world doesn't care. Nobody cares. Keep the schedule that needs to be kept. That's the job. Do it, whether you feel like it or not. That's keeping the schedule that needs to be kept. I had an agent I was coaching the other day who also has 2 young kids. And she said, I don't know how you do everything you do. And I said, I keep the schedule that needs to be kept, whether I feel like it or not. That's the job. And she said, well, if I did that, I would have to wake up at 5 a.m. I was like, oh, you would? Would you have to wake up at 5? Yeah, you would. It sucks. I'm not telling you I like it, but I'm telling you that I have to keep the schedule that needs to be kept in order to hit the goals that I have. So what's more important to you? Not keeping the schedule or getting to the goal? Which is it? You can't have both, right? And so I'm going to look up and tell you the hard truth that nobody says, which is that we don't care. There are a lot of people that are succeeding in spite of lifing. And there are a lot of people that will not keep the schedule that needs to be kept. Good news is you get to decide. Bad news is you get to decide. So you have to keep the schedule that needs to be kept. Listen, you got to wake up at 5. You got to wake up at 5. You got to wake up at 4. You got to wake up at 4. You got to do your workout at the end of the day after everybody's asleep. You got to do it. I had somebody come and shadow me. Whenever people ask to like shadow my business, I say, don't come shadow the business because that's not the whole story. You got to come shadow my life. And so what I'll do is I'll have them come and stay with me for a couple of days. And I had a friend that came over and wanted to shadow. And I said, you're going to stay with me. You're going to stay in my house and you're going to literally live with me for a couple of days. And so she came over and I woke her up at 4:30 because that's when I wake up. And she was like, why? I was like, you know what? I need at least an hour and a half till I hear the word mommy. That's what I need. So if that's going to happen, then I got to be up at 4:30. It is what it is. By the way, it used to be 5, but now I've got a 4.5-month-old who has decided that he's a morning person. So that means that we're waking up a little bit earlier. It is what it is, right? I got to keep the schedule that needs to be kept. And so then she was at the gym with me in the morning. She said, I hate going to the gym in the morning. And I was like, well, this is when I can get it done because I don't have the time to do it later in the day. And by the end of the day, I'm gassed. It is what it is. And then we hung out with my kids. We had breakfast. We mommed for a little while. We got them off to school and then we went to work. And by the way, when I go to work, I go to work. I'm not distracted right now because I respect your time. Do you? Do you respect your own time? Are you willing to focus on the thing that you are doing and be where your feet are for long enough to actually make an impact? How would you feel if I was scrolling Facebook on my other window or looking at Instagram or checking my email? Would you know? Would you feel disrespected? Yeah, you would. Then why do you do it to yourself? I'm just here to tell the truth today. That's all. And then we got to the end of the day and we made dinner and we did the mom thing again and we hung out with my husband. And then after he went to sleep, guess what we did? We worked a little more. I answer emails at night. I do my communication at night. That's when I can. That's the schedule that needs to be kept. And she was like, no Netflix, no TV, nothing. I'm like, nope, because we keep the schedule that needs to be kept. And I said, by the way, if that's important to you, that's awesome. I don't have any judgment around it. You can totally do that. But I got goals. And I'm not willing to throw those away for the latest season of whatever the F everybody is watching. I don't know because I don't watch TV. So we keep the schedule that needs to be kept. Number 5, set your routine. Set a routine that actually propels you to success. Some of you have never set a routine. Your routine has set you. In other words, the day happens to you, you don't happen to it. So you have to set your routine. What does it look like in order to propel your success? By the way, if you are walking into a day without clear picture of what it is that you're going to do that day, you're already behind. One of the most important routines, everybody asks me about my morning routine. And like, I don't know about you guys, respect to anybody who does, what is it called? The miracle morning. Like, ain't nobody got time for that. The people who talk about these like 5-hour morning routines, they only started doing that after they became successful. But I'll tell you, I'm not doing the miracle morning because I don't have time for that. It takes like an hour and a half. Nobody has time for that. I have a half hour every morning that I make count. And then I have a night routine, which is biblical in my house. Like, we do not stray from that night routine because it sets us up for the following day. I would offer that your night routine is far more important than your morning routine. Your night routine is where you are going to identify what it is that you're going to do the next day. You're going to identify your priorities. You're going to manage your calendar so that you walk into a day with a plan. If you walk into a day without a plan, you are already behind. Test it out for yourself. You are going to realize that every day that you're walking into your day without a plan, you're not getting as much done because you're using valuable energy to make a decision about what it is that you're going to do that day. You're probably starting off your day with your email, which is somebody else's to-do list. You're probably avoiding the actual work that you need to do because you don't have clarity on it, which you could have found yesterday. Set your plan the night before so that when you walk into a day, you know exactly what it is that you're there to do that day. That's the routine that actually counts. By the time you get to the morning, it's just too late. Number 6 is what we call day one mentality. By the way, if y'all have ever read the Amazon shareholder letters that Jeff Bezos writes, this is his concept. I can't take any credit for this. So this is his concept, and it's this idea of day one. He works in a building called Day One. He has signed off on all of these letters for years saying it's day one at Amazon. And what he means is that we approach the business as if it was day one. How did you all throw it in the chat or unmute yourself and share, like, what's something that every realtor does on day one? I bet that you followed up with every single lead until one of you died or they told you to stop, right? That's what every realtor does on day one in their business. Why? Because you don't have any other leads. I bet that every open house you did, you 10x'd it. You were putting balloons out. You put as many signs as you were legally allowed to put out. Like, you put out flyers. You probably door knocked. You did everything. What else did you do on day one? I bet you were a student, and I bet you actually did something with the stuff that you learned. How else did you approach your business on day one? You actually did the work. You made the calls. You were consistent because you didn't know any different. And this funny thing happens in real estate and frankly, all of business, that as we get successful, we stop doing all the things that made us successful in the first place. One of my favorite letters of all time is when somebody asked Jeff, what happens on day 2? And he said, day 2 is stasis, followed by a slow decline, followed by death. And that is why it's always day one at Amazon. What day are you at in your business? Some of you are at like day 5,364 and it shows. Just being honest. By the way, I don't know about all of you, but this industry has given a lot to me. I intend to give a lot back to it. And so when I show up every day, I show up as if it's day one. I prepare for every training as if it's the first one I've ever done. Do you? Are you approaching your business as if it's day one? Are you on day two? By the way, one of the most important conversations I have with people in their life, because again, this isn't just about your business. This is about having your best year yet, which isn't just business. It's about their relationships. I wonder what would happen to y'all's relationships if you approached them as if they were day one. I had a girlfriend who came to me and said, hey, I have some news I want to share with you. I think I'm going to get divorced. And I said, that's horrible. It's really sad. And I said, why? Like, and she said, we've just, grown apart, fallen out of love. He's not bad. I'm not bad, but we just don't love each other anymore. And I said, is that true? Because I've known y'all your whole relationship, and like, I can't imagine a world where you don't love each other anymore. I wonder if it's just day two in your relationship. And I said, what are all the things that you did on day one that you don't do anymore? And she started laughing. She said, I used to write him these Post-it notes and I would put them all around the house. And sometimes they were jokes or sometimes they were things that I liked about him. I said, when was the last time you did that? She was like, man, like 5 years ago. That day I was at her house and he came home and she looked at him like a lot of us look at our partners and she was like, sup? And I said, how'd you used to greet him when he came home? And she said, oh God, I'd be so excited. We would both talk about our days and we talk about the things that were great. And we had this little game that we would play about like who had the funniest thing that happened at work that day. And I said, I wonder what would happen to your relationship if you started doing all the things that you did on day one. And I said, do me a favor. Like if you're going to get divorced. But before you do that, just for 2 weeks, behave as if it was day one. Do all those things. Write the Post-it notes. Play the fun game when y'all get home. Go on the dates you used to go on. Do the adventures you used to do. Just for 2 weeks. And listen, if it doesn't work out, like you'll be right back where you started. Well, that was 4 years ago. And they're still very happily married. And guess what it is in their relationship? It's day one.
Day one.
There you go. Day one doesn't just have to do with our business. Day one has to do with everything. We stop doing what makes us successful in the first place. And then we wonder why everything falls apart. Pair day one with the set points, you're going to be unstoppable. You're going to be unstoppable. Number 7, stay out of other people's business. Just stay out of other people's business. I was at a real estate event a couple weeks ago, and there was a shakeup in the industry that I'm sure y'all have heard of. And everybody was like, well, what do you think? And what about this person? And what do you think of that person? And I was like, I don't care. I literally don't care. Not my business. Quite literally not my business. So I literally don't care. I see this in real estate all the time. Well, this person says that the market's going to do this, or this person's only doing this in their business, or this person's just the worst agent ever. What do you care? Stay out of their business. Most people I find that are in a bunch of other people's business are making every effort to avoid their own. Creates a lot of certainty for you to judge others so that they will not judge you, but more importantly, so you will not judge yourself. If you find yourself in other people's business, just let that little voice in the back of your head remind you that you're only doing so in an effort to avoid your own. I trust that you will not find the way forward in other people's business. Which brings me to another important life lesson. which is how people feel about you and their advice is 100% their business. And here's what that means. I would not suggest that you take advice or feedback from someone who is not living the life that you want to live. We get a lot of that in real estate. You should do this or you should do that. To which I go, okay. And then I let it go because that person is more than likely not living the life or running the business that I want to live. My favorite person in the world often gives me advice about marriage, my marriage. And I love him, but he has been married 6 times. And I tell him often, if I ever want to learn how to get married again and again and again and again, I will come to you. But your advice on how to stay married is garbage because you don't know how to do it. I laughed the other day. I had an agent who came to me and was interviewing for our organization and said, I've just been stuck at this 30 million mark. I've been stuck here at this 30 million mark and I don't understand why. I've tried this, I've tried that, I've done this, and I've had a coach and everybody says, get a coach and you'll get to where you want to go. And I said, well, what's the maximum amount your coach has ever sold? And they said, I don't know. And I said, well, you should go find that out. Guess what they found out? Maximum their coach had ever done was 30 million. So they were giving them really good advice about how to get to and stay at 30 million. Our organization has done billions. So if you want to learn how to live a bigger life, you're going to have conversations with people who think differently and bigger. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that business. But if that person wanted to get beyond it, they were going to have to think outside of it and not take advice from someone who only knew how to build that. Y'all tracking with me? So I'm going to pause for questions in a second, ahas, whatever you got. But the last one is spend a year on a problem. Spend a year on a problem. Here's what I mean by that. I'd love if y'all would throw it in the chat, but every single one of you has something in your life that if you were to make it better, fix it, resolve it, make it better, sharpen it, whatever it is, would have a tidal wave impact on the rest of your business and the rest of your life. Every single one of you has that. What's the thing that if you made it better, resolved it, fixed it, sharpened it, would have an impact on everything else in your life? Matt's being funny said not showing up to Zoom meetings on late, but here's the thing, that's a timeliness issue. Matt, if you could manage your schedule better, it would have a waterfall impact on the rest of your life. Love that. Once we have clarity on that, then we can go forward. What else? Throw it in the chat. What's the thing that if you made it better, sharpened the skill, fixed it, resolved it, whatever it is, would have the biggest impact on your business or on your life? Love it. Asking for the appointment every time. That's sales skills, adequate sleep. That's also time management. Doing the things on my calendar. Love that. By the way, if y'all message me I'll give you my email or you can find me on Instagram. Fuel only for fuel. I'm betting that's health. Prioritizing education over entertainment. Love that. That's also schedule management, not procrastination. If y'all message me on Instagram or email me, I have book lists for probably all of these things. More than happy to help you. That said, here's my challenge to all of you. Whatever you just wrote down or whatever you didn't have the courage to say, which means you should write it down in the chat and get some accountability around it. Spend a year on it, nothing else. Just spend a year sharpening that skill and nothing else. Watch your life transform. Most of us read like this. We read like a ping pong machine. Oh, I'll read that. Oh, I'll read that. Oh, somebody suggested that book. Let me pull that. What about? You're not actually making any meaningful progress in any area of your life. Spend a year on a problem. You have financial issues? Spend a year mastering your finances and watch your life change. You got sales skills issues? Spend a year mastering your communication and skills. Watch your business change. You got procrastination or timeliness issues? Spend a year understanding that. Watch your life change. You are not allowed to read any other books. You are not allowed to go to any other classes because nothing matters until that thing is resolved. Huh? Come on. So one more time. I'll send this to Katie too. Number one, what's your plan? You got to have a plan. Number two, what's your different list? In order to get different results, you have to behave differently. Number three, establish your set points. How do you make sure you don't go backwards? Number four, keep the schedule that needs to be kept. Keep the schedule that needs to be kept no matter what. Set your routine so that you don't have to think about it. You don't have to pretend as if every day is anew. Set your routine so that you can maximize your time. Day one mentality. Approach your business in day one and keep doing all the things that made you successful in the first place. This is about addition, not subtraction. Number seven, stay out of other people's business. Just do it. And number eight, spend a year on a problem. I'm going to pause for questions in a second. If you want to connect with me, that's where you can do it. But I'd love to hear some ahas, some questions, what you got out of today. If you've never been in a training where they say an aha is like a light bulb moment. I learned this today. I discovered this today. I didn't want to discover this, but I did it anyway. And I would love to hear some of your one things. What is the one thing you all promise that you're going to take away from this conversation today and actually implement? How are you going to make our time together count? Those of you that didn't turn on your cameras, I can't help you. The rest of you, I want to hear from you. Set points, for sure. Other ahas, questions? Keep your schedule. I would establish your actual set points. So what are your set points going to be? How are you going to make sure that you don't go backwards? Spend a year on a problem. What is the problem you're going to spend a year on? I would challenge you not to think on anything. Just make your action item now. Your goals don't care about how you feel. No, they don't. Your finances. Here's my challenge to all of you. Let's reframe this question. What is the one thing, the one action item you are going to do with today? Because if you're going to think about it or pontificate on it or consider it, I'm here to tell you, you're not going to do it. So what are you actually going to do with the information that you got today? What is your actual action item?
I'll unmute myself and share, and maybe this will inspire someone else to unmute themselves and share. Mine is the routine, like creating a routine that actually sets me up for success the night before and that morning. That's what's going to move me forward.
Love that. Year one, it's day one.
I'll share.
Yeah.
I'm very good at time blocking and following my routine and my schedule. I do the nighttime routine. I purposefully don't put exercise on my calendar because I don't want to do it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Vaccinated.
I love that.
I'm going to put it on my calendar.
I love that, Tammy. Like, here's the deal, or Tammy Sue, I'm sorry. Here's the deal. Awareness is the greatest agent for change. And when we can just call it what it is, like Tammy Sue just did, then we have the opportunity to change. Again, good news is you get to decide. Bad news is you get to decide, right? Clear my calendar and start fresh so that I can stay focused on the calendar. Eleanor, if you want some coaching on that, unmute yourself and share, because I don't think that's going to have the results that you're looking for. I'm going to write a schedule for a week. Love that. You have muted yourself, which gives me permission. What do you mean by that?
So I have my calendar filled with things that are not important to my business, and I need to put the things in there that are more meaningful.
For sure. It's identifying the things that actually move you forward. By the way, Eleanor, I bet there's only one or two things that are actually important in your business. What are those?
Lead gen, communication.
Communication, like transactional communication?
Talking to new people.
So that's lead gen.
Lead gen, yeah.
Right? So it all sort of falls under that bucket. What else?
Keeping the schedule.
Keeping the schedule. So in other words, what I'm hearing, Eleanor, is that all you need to put on your calendar is lead gen. Because here's the deal. What you're going to do if you bucket your calendar, here's what I see so often. By the way, I just feel the need to say out loud, my dog decided to just come in my office. So you guys hear heavy breathing and growling, it's not me. Here's the challenge, and here's what happens, Eleanor. We put things on our calendar and we don't put actual results on the calendar. So most people use their calendar as a goal setting system. And like I told y'all, average people set goals, successful people take action. They are different. So what this should look like for you is not, my goal is to spend 2 hours lead generating. Is your goal actually to spend 2 hours lead generating? Here's my goal every day. I want to talk to as few people as possible. I actually am an introvert. I don't like talking to people. So I don't want to talk to anybody. If I had my preference, I would lock myself in my house and read all day. That's what I actually want to do. But I need to talk to 10 people every day. That is my job. I need to talk to 10 people about their real estate business. So if I can do that in 15 minutes, yes, I would love that. But sometimes it takes me 3 hours. Sometimes it takes me 4. Sometimes I can get it done in 1. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but I have one goal and one goal only, and that is to talk to 10 people. It's not to do it for 2 hours, because if I'm done in 30 minutes, I'm going to get the heck out of there, right? So what I would challenge for you is that you actually probably need to put a lot less on your calendar, and there's probably only one thing that you need on your calendar, which is how many people you need to talk to on a daily basis. That's it.
I love that. And I like that you said, put the results on the calendar, the results that I am expecting. That's what I need to put on my calendar. Thank you for that.
Because here's the deal. If you spend 2 hours lead generating and you don't talk to anybody, did you hit your goal? Well, technically you did, right? My goal was to lead generate for 2 hours. And I'm like, no, your goal was actually to talk to people about real estate. So which one is it? Is it to do it for the time frame, or is it to actually get the results? It's not about time spent, it's about time spent well. Make sense?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
I'm only talking to Eleanor right now. I know nobody else has this issue. Anyways, any other questions, ahas from today? Was today helpful? Valuable? Are you going to do something with it? Please?
Drafting my different list right now, Nikki.
I love that.
Yeah, literally in my journal.
What's your different list? What's the number one thing?
Number one thing for me right now is, while we were talking, I pulled up the pool schedule at my overly expensive club that I pay for and don't use, and I'm going to block the time to swim after work.
Love that.
Because I don't have kids. I can do it.
You can absolutely. By the way, like, I love that you said that. I want to go back to younger Nikki, who didn't have kids, and be like, what were you doing? What were you doing with all of that free time? Like, you could have done so much more.
Doom scrolling.
I love that discovery.
Yeah.
No pressure, Jim, with the no kids.
Like, used my time wisely, and now I know I didn't.
Yeah.
Having children has made me a much better business person, and also has made me realize how much time I wasted. And I just shake my head. Any other questions or ahas? I hope y'all will take this. I hope we'll get to connect. I love when people share with me something that they did. Even if you're not willing to share it on here, message me on Instagram. I want to hear about it. If y'all want to find me, you can reach me at nikki@leverbymavoto.com if you want to email me. We do lots of free trainings. We'd love to have you at them. I'll leave y'all with this. I tell people often that the good news is you get to decide. Bad news is you get to decide. And you have the ability to be the agent for change in your life. And there's this funny thing happening in the world right now, in a very divisive world right now, where we're having conversations about leadership because of how other people are showing up. And a lot of people think that that leadership and success is this like outward thing. And it's so wrong. Leadership is an inward thing. And I would go so far as to say, and be so dramatic to say, that you all have the ability to change the world by being the change that you wish to see in the world and behaving as you would like the world to be. So if you are looking for a better world, be better. And if you are looking for change to happen, then you change. Because every day that you show up is not only a vote for who you are, but a vote for who other people can be. Because whether you believe yourself to be a leader and inspiration or not, you are one. And people are looking to you for what's possible. People are looking to you for who they can be or can't. And people are looking to you to decide how they should be. And I hope that you'll make it count. And I hope that you will make a vote every day for the better world that we all hope to see. Thank you all for having me today. I appreciate the time. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Nikki. You guys, I hope that you enjoyed this. If you want more Nikki in your life, we're going to send out a recap email with ways to connect with Nikki, ways to be in her world, ways to get coached by Nikki. So thank you, Nikki, for being here. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you always. Happy anniversary. And then join us next month, you guys. We have a Olympic gymnast joining us to talk with you. So it's going to be so fun. In the meantime, have a fantastic month. Happy Wednesday, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.